And now we've reached the moments that we're all here. We'll start off with the Merchandiser of the Year Award. The Merchandiser of the Year Award bestows special recognition to the PGA professional performing outstanding services as a merchandiser. This award, based on professional overall performance in merchandising, unusual, innovative promotional sales. The award considers the skill of planning and presenting of merchandise on a timely basis and through the use of specialized merchandising techniques that include display and advertising. If I can have Gordon please come on up at this time. Gordon will be facilitating for us. Our Merchandiser of the Year Private Award winner, Trevor Fox, has led an exceptional team at the golf club at Black Rock, which has driven exceptional strong revenue numbers and equally strong margins in the private sphere. Trevor plays a key role in the success of his operation by utilizing a small space extremely and efficiently well, and by taking advantage of the small number of rounds by providing a high quality and desirable products. Much of his time is spent researching on what the best options are, spanning from discussions with vendors, club members, and other facilities, and discussions with others on various regions in the country to find out what items are doing well in locations when their season starts. Ladies and gentlemen, our Merchandiser of the Year Private Award winner, Trevor Fox. Our Merchandiser of the Year Resort, Nick McCaskin, has received the award in 2020 and 2021 and continues to produce impressive data figures for the growth of merchandise sales year over year. Nicholas empowers his team to be involved, and his motto is, "We make people feel special" when they visit Kalispell. He's also implemented core values in the forefront of their operation. Everyone is welcome here. We take pride in everything we do, and we choose excellence every day. This is clearly reflected in his and his team's success in gross pro shop sales and in the merchandise area. Ladies and gentlemen, our Merchandiser of the Year Resort, Nick McCaskin. Sean Airy is our Merchandiser of the Year Public. Sean is one of the few pros left in our area who owns his own golf shop. A majority of his time is spent ensuring the success of his merchandising operation. His sales margins and efficiency stand out as markers of his success in retail sales at Twisting Tree. Over the last couple of years, even following the boom of 2020, Sean's sales have increased significantly year over year from 21 to 22. Despite not having massive retail space, Twisting Trees use their space extremely efficiently and has led the category in retail sales per square foot at over $580 per square foot in 2022. This is a remarkable number for a public facility. He's also generated over $13 in retail sales per round played and is extremely impressive at a relatively low green fee facility. His buying practices include an emphasis on college sports, which makes a great sense considering his location near Oregon State University. Also, what's impressive about Sean is he leads from the front. At a recent Pro-Am we had there last week, I personally observed Sean cleaning the range, working in the pro shop, turning and flipping over hot dogs. He also allows his staff the opportunity to lead and be educated, as he was able to turn over cleaning out the sewer system to his son, Hogan. What an amazing opportunity to let your son do that. Ladies and gentlemen, our Merchandiser of the Year Public, Sean Airy. I'd like to turn it over to Gordon Coder of Manitou Golf and Country Club and our new section secretary.
Okay, I think to make it fair on all you guys, we won't go in the same order every time, so we'll start with you though, Foxy. All right. So why don't we did this beforehand with the new members, and so why don't we go around and why don't you guys take turns telling me about your story and how you got started in the golf business?
My story as far as getting into the golf business, my dad played a lot. My dad was a farmer or in the ag chemical business, and we were playing a lot when I was young, and my dad was like, "Kid, pay attention so you don't have to do what I do for a living. You can find out something else better to do." So as I got going into golf and different things like that, my dad would go to work at about 5 in the morning or something like that, and I was like, Dad, can you just take me and drop me off at the club? And again, I say club. This was in Tico, Washington, so it was a 9-hole little farm course, and I was pretty much the only kid running around, and so he'd drop me off at 5:30 in the morning. I'd take my bag and my little walk cart or whatever it was, and then he would come pick me up at 6 o'clock, whatever time he got done. This was, again, not to date me or anything like that. This was before cell phones and all that other stuff. So it's a small little golf course, so he could just kind of be like, "Oh, there he is. He's up there." He'd, honk the horn a couple times. He'll come down, and then proceeded to get into high school golf. When I first got to high school, again, small town, we didn't have a high school golf program. Kind of went to the AD, was like, "Hey, I'd like to play golf. I don't know if this is going to take off or not, but let's play golf. Would like to try." I played baseball all the way up growing up. And then from there, they decided to start a golf program. They ended up getting like 40 kids. And again, I think the baseball team at the time had 15 kids in the baseball program, and we had 40 going out for the golf team. And they were like, "Wow, this is pretty good." So got through that. Ended up walking on at Eastern Washington, and then when I got done at Eastern Washington University, it was kind of one of those things of, do I want to be in a cubicle or do I want to be on a golf course? I picked a golf course, not knowing kind of what was going to happen from there, but so far so good.
All right, we'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Nick.
All right, so my golf started on a rainy day with a cast on my leg and a garbage bag to keep the cast from getting wet. So I had a major leg surgery in elementary school and couldn't play the other sports for a while. And my best friend at the time, and still very good friend of mine, invited me out to play golf. And I hadn't really ever played or done anything much before that as far as golf was concerned. And so the day that we went out to play, it was pouring down rain. And I had just had the surgery about a month before. And so still had the cast on the leg, and it's like, I'm probably not supposed to get this thing wet, am I? So we threw a garbage bag around it and got out there, and had the bag on my back and crutches, and played 18 holes and had just a great time with my friends, and figured that I love this game. I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of my life. And yeah, kind of similar to Foxy's story, would spend the entire day at the golf course. My parents would tell me, make sure you come home and eat dinner at some point, and I would, but yeah, I would stay till dark, and then time for high school golf came. I went out for the team, played all 4 years in high school, and then decided that after high school I wanted to do something with it as well. So went to New Mexico State University and did the PGM program there, and then was able to intern under Les Blakely at Spokane Country Club for all my internships, and from then on, I was hooked. So
we used to play golf with hickory clubs back in my day. I grew up in Eastern Washington, Tri-Cities, Richland specifically. My older brother got me into golf when I was 9, 10 years old. Follow him. He was 5 years older, so he didn't like me tagging along. But he got me introduced to the game. I started playing it. Loved baseball first. I was a great Little League player, all-star, superstar. Little League was a perfect size field for me. I was small. I could get it out of the infield. Then we got into Pony League. Everybody grew but me. I couldn't get it out of the infield, and I says, I'm taking up golf. So that's what led me forward to golf, playing it competitively and focusing on that sport. Got into high school golf. Some guy became the new pro at the home course that I grew up, the public course called Shamnapum Golf Course, no longer around in Richland. But a guy who is my mentor in the game, Pat Welch, kicked me off the driving range because I was picking balls up on the range to hit some balls because I was too cheap to pay for golf balls. So 3 months later, a buddy of mine that was working for Pat in the pro shop, Jim Van Tile, he passed away a few years ago, fellow PGA pro. He was working in the shop, said, you want a job here? And I said, sure. Pat kicked me off the range. He didn't know he hired me. 3 months later, I walk in the pro shop. He introduces himself to me while I'm working for him. He never even interviewed me. He didn't know I got the job. I got the job and said, yeah, I'm the guy you kicked off the range. I'm working for you now. He became the best man at my wedding. So that's where my career started, was in Richland, Tri-Cities. And from that point, I went to Richland, and I went to Oregon State University, played golf there. When I got done, decided if I'm going to play professionally or become a club pro. I couldn't beat Corey Pavin, so I decided I'm going to come back here and be a club pro and go in that direction. So that's how I got into business.
Very good. Very good. Why don't we go ahead and stay with you, Sean, so we're not picking on the same person first every time. You were mentioning Pat. So, one of the questions we had was, who was your mentor and how did they influence you?
I've had three very influential people as a golf professional that basically I am who I am because of these three guys. Pat Welch, who was the pro at Shamnapone, he took me in. He taught me everything. He basically let me take over. I started as a senior in high school, worked with him all through the summers when I was going to school, came back after school, became an assistant pro for him. I think the world of him. He was a great public golf course club pro for many years. He was obviously toured from one of the greatest, I think, in our section, Bill Welch from the public sector, longtime legend from Indian Canyon. It was great for me because when Bill was retiring in 1984 from Indian Canyon, he spent the winters and springs down in the Tri-Cities, and I got to learned how to play cribbage with him, sitting by the fire, and I got to listen to a lot of stories about Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson, and he played for Harvey Penick at University of Texas. Ben and Bill and they all grew up in Fort Worth together, and they were all the same age, so they got to play a lot of golf together. So I got to listen to a lot of great stories about Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson and Harvey Penick from Bill, and Bill was a great merchandiser. I mean, he worked in a pro shop at Indian Canyon that was smaller than half of this little space here, and did a remarkable amount of business up there. So he gave me some philosophies of how he would merchandise too, and I learned from Bill. And then on the golf industry side, and then another one I got to mention Malin Moe. I took my first head pro job when I was 27. I moved to Longview, Washington. I became a head pro at Longview Country Club, and Malin was the head pro at Mint Valley Golf Club in Longview, and Malin was Pat's best friend, and I got to know Malin really well through Pat in all the years of traveling, playing in tournaments together. And so when I got to Longview, Malin welcomed me, and we did a lot of buying together for his shop and my shop. And to this day, Malin and I still, in fact, I dropped some balls and some clubs off to him in Portland on the way up here this morning. So we're still very connected. So those three professionals have been great influences in my life. But mostly in the golf industry, the Justina family, Nat Justina, Larry Justina, they're the ones who hired me. They own Tokatee Golf Club. They built Trysting Tree Golf Club for Oregon State University. And they're very well-endowed people with finances, but they're very, very, very good people in the golf industry. They're one of the most frugal but brilliant people. And I got to learn the business of the golf industry through them, and not just the pro shop side. I've had 33 years of one-year contracts. I don't know if anybody was willing to do that, but that's how my contract is, 1 year at a time, and I've had 33 of them. So Nat always felt like, you're going to own the shop, you're going to be hungry, because if you're hungry to make money, you're going to get people in, and that was his goal, and that's why he trusted me with having my own shop and giving me that opportunity, because it made me hungrier, and because of that, those people are really the most influential for me.
All right, Nick, I know you mentioned Les Blakely. Do we have Les and others?
So my first experience with a club professional was actually the one and only Mark Gardner from Cricket Qualchin, and he invited me back when I was in junior high to play in a pro junior with him, and he was just great to play with, and just inspired me to research it more and figure out if that was the route that I wanted to go. And he was always there for me throughout with questions and things that I needed going forward and getting into the program. At the time when he invited me to play with him, he did a deal where if you beat him in golf, he would give you a dozen golf balls with "I beat the pro" imprinted on them. And I ended up beating him that day and never let him live that one down. I still have a couple of the golf balls sitting up on my desk, and definitely like to remind him of that every once in a while. I'm pretty sure that was the last time that he that he made that offer during the Pro Junior. But yeah, just a great person and was definitely an early mentor for me. And then going into working in the golf industry, Les Blakely, he took me under his wing as an intern back in the early 2000s, and just an incredible human, an incredible boss, and yeah, fully took me under his wing and showed me, I'd like to say, everything that he knew, and I try to just almost be a mirror image of him. He's a Pacific Northwest Hall of Famer. He won the Merchandiser of the Year award 4 times. He won the section or the chapter award 11 times, which is a record for our section. So I told him I'll catch you one day, but most likely not. I think he's going to keep that record for a very long time. But yeah, Les Blakely is definitely my number one mentor. He's retired now, and but he's always available if I ever run into something that I just don't know what to do. He's always made himself available, and I hope that I can do the same for someone else in the future as well as a mentor to them.
All right, Foxy.
I probably got the same thing. I've got probably 3 big influences in my life as far as being in the golf business and doing some other things. Obviously, I already mentioned my dad. He was big as far as work ethic, and if you're going to do something, do it right. Don't screw around. Figure it out. Work hard and try to be the best that you possibly can be. If you're going to do it, you might as well try to be the best at it. So that's a big influence in my life. I also had the opportunity to work for a former or a Pacific Northwest Hall of Famer, Gary Lindeblad, I shouldn't say right out of college, right in college. Went up there, got a job with Indian Canyon, just picking balls. Like I was playing golf at Eastern Washington University, too cheap to buy my own range balls, so I figured out like I got to do something in order to hit golf balls. Otherwise, this is not going to go very good. So I went to Indian Canyon, got a job there. Only spent about a year out on the outside service staff, picking balls for Gary. He kind of pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, I need somebody in the shop," And so I spent 7 years with Lindy there, and then while I was with Lindy, also went down to Palm Springs after I got out of college. Worked for a golf professional named Fred Nadeau for 4 years, and Freddie and I have, probably since day one, become very close friends. We still stay in contact to this day. We kind of talk to each other probably once a month or so. But Freddie is a great golf professional. Taught me everything. Big influence in my life. Somebody again I can call and bounce questions off of, comments off of. We got together a couple times at the PGA show this last January, and just kind of, he's if anybody knows Freddie, he was in our section for a little while. Now he's down in Utah. So, but big influence in what I do and how I do it.
Very cool. All right, we'll get down to the meat here. So, for everybody here, you guys are all obviously tremendous at what you do, and you guys, know how to turn over merchandise. But so, I'll start with Nick. So, I mean, you're at a resort, tribal-owned golf course, but you do an incredible, tremendous amount of business. Tell me, what is your overall merchandising philosophy? Tell me what you've learned along the way that has kind of brought you where you are, and if you could share with all of us who want to get better, your very best practice. Give us the behind the curtain secret sauce.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it all stems down to, number one, providing the best service possible. That goes down to training our staff to just be knowledgeable in the product, involving them in those merchandising responsibilities has gone a long ways for us, so that they're knowledgeable with the product and how to sell the product, and they have those relationships with a lot of the reps as well. It's not just the one person that the rep can go to. It's our entire team, which is super helpful for us. And then it's having the best product possible. It's something for everyone. That's been one of our philosophies, to not just have things for the regular golfer only, but thinking outside of the box and finding some things that maybe a non-golfer or someone that is a golfer but also likes doing other things would enjoy as well. So one of the products that we brought in, and they kind of laughed at us when we called to try to set up an account, but was Traeger grills. And this was about 6-7 years ago. We started bringing in Traeger grills. Our assistant pro and myself are super into, smoking meat, and as I know Gordo is extremely into as well. He's like the king of it. But yeah, so we started bringing in Traeger grills. We called Traeger, and they're like, "Wait, what kind of facility are you?" "Yeah, we're a golf course." "And you want to bring our product into a golf course? Like, we haven't had that before." Like, "Yeah, can we do that?" And they made an account with us, and we started bringing product in. The grills, all the different items. But yeah, if you had asked me 10 years ago, do you think you'd ever be selling grills out of the pro shop? I'd say probably not. But having out of the box type of thinking on items like that can actually go a long ways and make it to where it's a place where not only your normal clientele is going to shop, but you're also going to be able to grow into the community as well.
Very nice. All right, Foxy, picking on you. So how does a guy from Tico, Washington, okay, excuse me, Oaksdale, okay.
Big difference.
I
Big
understand.
difference.
T-shirts and bush lights to running a top 100 ultra high-end private club. And frankly, I have to say this in front of everybody, but somebody who I really admire, both the way you merchandise and just the overall way you run your operation. But give us your philosophy and maybe a best practice that we can all take home so I can maybe make a little money, because I'm like Sean and I own my golf shop. So,
Well, I'm jealous of you both by far. So I've gone to the club a couple of times and been like, "Hey, you guys want to give me the shop?" And they're looking at me like, "No." I'm like, "Come on."
It's because you're doing too good of a job.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
know,
problem.
right?
You're a
It's
victim
like
of your own
I was like,
success.
they're like, "Wait a minute, it's the one department we're making money in. We're not going to give that up." One of the things, kind of building off what Nick said, I guess what I do is I really try to take my customer and my membership and everything and really listen to them, right? I find out who's buying the most, and I go to them and I say, "Hey, Gordo, what are you buying? What do you like? What is it that fits well? What really kind of gets you excited about coming in the golf shop? All that type of stuff." So I get kind of our top male purchasers, so to speak, and our top female purchasers, and I've created a relationship with them, and I'll text them all winter long. I'll talk to them all summer long and be like, "What is it that you're seeing out there? What are you buying?" And again, these people are buying quite a bit, and so it's like, I want to jump on that board. I don't want to sit there and think, "Okay, I know more than they do." I don't, and I don't want to hide anything here. I don't know more than they do. They're the ones buying it, so who am I to tell them what they want or what they should be buying? So I build off of what they're buying. So I sit there and go, "Hey, are we carrying something, or are we not carrying more? Like, what are we not carrying that you guys want?" And they're like, "Hey, man, if you could get this product, if you can get this product." One of the big ones that we got a couple years ago was Lululemon. Gordo helped me a little bit with that. He got in somehow quicker than I did. It took me 5 years of phone calls, and I still didn't get it. And Gordo finally tells me, he's like, "I got an account." I'm like, "Wait a minute." Gordo must be a little better on the phone than I am, but we got an account open. My members are like, "Oh my gosh." So I've got members all over the country. They're like, "I'm buying everything from you." And I'm like, "Please do." So that account has been big for us. But again, I just try to look, listen, and talk to some of my biggest buyers out there and just say, "What do you guys want?" And again, if somebody said, "I want a Traeger grill," I'd be like, "All right, let's figure this thing out," right? And so we also try to figure out some new and creative things. I've pulled some of my T-shirts and Bud Lights into the realm. For those of you that don't know, we're on the lake. One of my biggest categories, one of biggest kind of product areas is hoodies and T-shirts, baby. Hoodies and T-shirts. We crank them out. My staff and I, and again, I probably can speak for all these guys. We would not be up here without the staff that we have involved in everything that we have. They are truly what kind of allows us to be up here. So I don't want to go any farther without saying that
We're
I
gonna
am
get
very,
to that,
very
I
lucky.
promise.
What's that?
We're going to get to that.
Okay. So, but my staff and I, we work all winter long. We're trying to come up with these creative, sayings, different things like that, to the point to where it's T-shirts and hoodies. Again, not a big dollar value, but the margins are pretty good. If you can crank out enough of them, the margins are pretty good on them. So we bang out a bunch of T-shirts and hoodies and different things like that. We use a lot of email blasts, a lot of social media. We have a private social media account that only our members can see, so we can advertise on there. And so we post a bunch of stuff on there that, hey, get to the shop. This is what's coming out, and gets people in the door and saying, like, where is that? I saw it on social media. I saw it on Facebook. I got the push notification. I saw it on email, and I want it. And so that's a big one for us. We push hard on that because not everybody can come in the door, or at least, hey, the lake's right there. They want to go to the lake. Maybe I can push them up here to our shop for a little while. So
Very good. That's good stuff. I appreciate that. Now, Sean, now daily fee, I mean, price and value are two different things. And so tell me what you're doing to, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if
we're an Oregon State University golf
Yeah.
course, so students are a big part of our business at Oregon State, at Trysting Tree. So a little over a third of our customers are college kids. And you think, well, they're not going to be as lucrative as the regular golfer. College kids they have that card, and they know how to use it. Now it's not a card; there's their phone. They just tap their phone to the system, so they use it really well, and we're doing a good job catering to them a little bit. And they seem to have money for hats and T-shirts and all that stuff. But on the equipment side, we've gotten a lot more into the equipment the last 2 or 3 years. It's hard for me coming from, I don't know if there's many people in this room as old as me now in this business. Like I said, I've been doing this for 36 years as a head professional owning my shop, and 4 years with Welchie. So that's 40 years in the business. We only had wooden heads when I started, okay? So, and there wasn't graphite options. Now there's so much complexity to selling and fitting and doing all that. And that's what we gained our business. A lot of it in the last 3 years is getting into fitting. I have 4 or 5 fittings out, carts in there now. Something I did, and I'm not a brilliant guy. I know how to steal ideas from other good shops, and I've done that in my years. I look and I observe what is really well done at certain clubs, and I try to implement it that would work in my place, and that's what I've done a lot. And one of the things we do really well is in club repair, regripping and lie loft machines and fittings that way. People have golf clubs that don't fit. As you walk into my shop, you walk right by a counter that has all the grips and a workbench. I got that from Whisper Rock in Arizona. They have this old classic one, and then they brought one up at Tethro, and it's a great idea. Now, they don't use it. We don't either, but it's a display that draws the people's attention to it. And then Craig Pelzer told me, he said, and after I started putting that bench in, he said, I increased my grip business more than any other club that he offers grips to. And he thought, he loved that idea, and it really worked well. So there's a lot of things we've done to increase that part of it. On the soft goods side, I learned a lesson really well from when I was 27. I got my first Ed Pro job at Longview Country Club. One of the members is a jeweler. And he came up to me and he said to me, I'm going to give you a piece of retail advice that you'll live for the rest of your life with. He says, it's not what you sell it at, it's what you buy it at. He said, like anything, a shirt's going to sell at a certain price. You better make sure you buy it at half of it. If you buy it more than that, you're never going to make your money. So he said, whatever you're going to sell that shirt at, make sure it's 50%, because nobody's going to pay more than $39 for a shirt. That was back in 1988. So it's a little higher now. The other philosophy I have about Trysting Tree is that I've always felt like, and especially hats and soft goods, things like that, if you're a $59 golf course, you better not be selling $89, $99 shirts. You can do that at Pumpkin Ridge. You can do that at Diamond Woods. Or not, excuse me, I'm at the coast, that place down south, everybody goes to, Bandit Dunes. They're charging $250, and you can buy a $195 shirt there. You can't do that at a $65 or $59 golf course. So try to get it price appropriate to your customer base. And then, of course, Oregon State athletics is as long as they keep winning football games and baseball games, that sells regardless. So those are really what we've lived with, and my philosophy of just what we can make it work.
Very good. I got my staff is here. I hope they are paying attention there. So we got, Alan say that's the reason God gave you one mouth and two ears. So we got Foxy who listens and Nick over there. If it makes dollars, it makes sense, right? It doesn't matter if it's Traegers or teacups, right? Right. And then we're going to buy it right down there. Yeah. So, man, thank you guys all. And I know that there's not a person up here. I certainly know it's not me that does this by themselves. So we're going to wrap up with letting each of you go ahead and thank who you want to thank for making this possible for you.
Well, I think we said it earlier, our families. Can't do it without them. But I like to thank the reps, our reps. I lean heavily with, I see some of them in here, and J-Bo and a few other guys in here. They help me out a lot, especially when they know it's your own money. It seems like they care a little bit more when it's your dollar sitting in there than if some corporations. So they do help you out a lot, and I lean heavily on the reps too, and they're great with me. So I want to thank the reps. But going back to it, my staff, all the assistants that's helped me over the years. I've had a few of them here now that are in here. Scooter, where are you? I think you're in here. Scooter was a longtime assistant for me. I was told to fire him a couple times by our administration, but I held strong on him, and look how he turned out. So he's been a great success. But I've had a lot of great assistants that work for me that's moved on. But again, I go back to my family. My wife, who is the artist of our family, she created the logos, the images of what we've got for our logos and things like that, and the creativity in our shops. My daughter, who does all the work on the Instagrams and stuff that I can't figure out how to do. And first and last and foremost, my son, Hogan. He's here with me today. He was born into this business, and excuse me, he's going to take over in 2 more years. He said something to me in college when he was down in Austin, Texas. He played Austin Country Club with a teammate of his. He said, "Dad, I saw that the Pinnocks were the head pro, the father and son, for 70 years at Austin Country Club." He said, "We can do that at Trysting Tree." Well, I'm going to have 35 years, so I'm going to get half of it down here in a couple of years, and I'm going to turn it over here to him in 2 more. So, there's your tears you were asking for.
Yeah, I mean, number one, our incredible staff. I've been super lucky with having, basically the same staff for the past 7 years at our golf course, and there is going to be a time where I'm going to have to let them go and all spread their wings somewhere, because I know all of them are way overly qualified and ready for that. But yeah, they're incredible, and yeah, I definitely wouldn't be here any of the times without them. There's so many times where I'll ask for something to get done, and it's already done. We're good, and that is just the best feeling in the world to know that they're looking out for our operation as well, and making sure things are being taken care of. Huge thank you as well to my family. Very lucky with an incredible wife and two great sons that just fully support what I do and are totally understanding of the long hours and what it takes to do what we do. So yeah, they're just wonderful to me, and always smiling faces to come home to every night, which is great. And then just thank you to each and every one of PGA members, PGA associates, in this room and not in this room. They're just so inspiring to me. Like Sean, I'm always kind of seeing what all the other pros are up to, and in a way, copy the best things that I'm seeing. And we have such a creative, just incredible group in our chapters and in our section, and it's just it's very inspiring to me to keep trying to be my best, because all of you are the best. So thank you all.
Building off what these guys said, I am the guy up here in the front that did bring my family. I got my wife and my 2 little ones up here, so they're obviously a huge part of everything that we do. So the chance, when I emailed Denise, she was like, "I'm not sure, but let me find out." And they said, absolutely bring them. We look forward to it. I was a little afraid that the room would be just like this, but I appreciate you, everybody, putting up with them. But I would not be up here without all the support that they give me at home. So it's important for them to see that Dad's gone for a reason. It's tough, but their support, it means the world to me. Building off of that, I know probably everybody in this room is going to say that they have the best staff on the planet and all this type of stuff. I cannot say enough positive things about my staff. I've been very lucky to have a bunch of repeats, so to speak. I'm very seasonal, so I'm 6 months open, 6 months closed. That's tough for us to keep people alive, to keep staff alive, all this type of stuff. But my head professional, who's been underneath me he is going on, I think, 18 years now with me. I've been there 20. I've got probably 5 other key positions in our operation as far as outside staff, locker room, different things like that have been with me 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and that's huge. As far as everybody in this room knows. As I tell people, I can train as much as I possibly can, but until you get face to face with that customer, with that member, it's hard to remember. Hey, Gordo likes his bag this way. He likes it this. He likes to be on this side. His wife likes things this way. But that returning person over and over and over again is huge for us. And so I can't say enough. I've got a phenomenal staff. They do a bunch of different things. I always tell them, go to every club that you can possibly go to, find out what they're doing, and steal it. Sorry. I mean, we're not recreating the wheel here. We're just trying to, kind of make it best for us. And so when Colin's my head pro, when we go to different golf courses, we look from top to bottom as far as operation. Like, what can we take? What can't we take? And we're always trying to get better. So that's very important. And again, I've got how I feel is the best staff on the planet. I wouldn't be up here without them. I guarantee it. They make me look good, and I appreciate that every day.
Well, very good. Well, let's give these guys some hardware. Let's give one big more round of applause, and we can present them their awards.